Welcome to a sports betting podcast from pregame.com for the week of February 12th, 2010. I'm your host, RJ Bell. I'm joined by Marco D'Angelo, 30 years in the business, Vegas runner, genuine professional bettor here in Vegas, star of the CNBC special on gambling. This is segment 404, big game preview, Sunday action, college basketball, UCLA at USC. Okay, so Vegas runner, this is Thursday, we're taping, line's not out on the game, but like all good handicappers, we make our numbers before the lines come out, or at least you two do, and I use those. All right, so you do true line.
Right.
And true line means what you think the result of the game is going to be at least 50% of the time, what's going to split the result. What do you put the true line on this game being?
Based on just the strength of the power ratings, I made USC an 8-point favorite. After I adjusted for the matchup, my true line in this one is closer to 9.5.
Okay, so you think
with
USC...
a total of 111.
So you think USC has some advantages that aren't evident in the power ranking?
Exactly.
And we'll get back to that. Okay, Mark, now you do something different. You try to decide where the bookie's going to come out to split the action, what we call the fair line, and then if the line comes in differently, you think the bookie has a opinion and you want to follow the bookie. What's the fair line?
The Vegas is going to come out with this game at 8, is what I have it at.
Okay. Interesting. You're saying they're coming out at the pure power ranking, and VR is saying there might be some matchup advantages to USC. So right off, I think our lean is looking to be towards USC, the home fave.
Correct.
Explain to us those matchup advantages.
UCLA plays such a slow tempo. They love to slow the game down as much as possible. The problem here is USC likes to go one step further and stretch it out even longer before they take a shot. So UCLA is not going to be able to dictate the tempo the way they like to slow a team that likes to run down, where they're not going to be able to frustrate, USC. USC is going to let them walk it down the court and have absolutely no problems watching them do that.
That's a good point. So this actually, and I'll let you jump back in, this touches upon what we talked about in the prior segment, the Louisville-Syracuse, in that we were saying that when two teams have the same style, the superior team has a big advantage because they get to play comfortably within their style.
Right.
So we're saying we got two slow it down teams. USC's the better team at home. Thus, you see a big advantage there.
Exactly.
That's pretty good. I'm actually learning something this week. All right, Marco, so what jumps out at you?
Well, this is a huge rivalry, USC. UCLA.
Oh, is that right?
It is. Well, word has it.
If you're on the East Coast.
Yeah, they don't like each other.
But this is a major revenge game for UCLA. They played earlier this year at UCLA.
Destroyed.
And UCLA got embarrassed. One of their lowest point totals of the year. They were held to 46 points. They lost 67 to 46. Ben Holland, going back to his days at Pitt, great motivator, great coach in revenge. I think UCLA comes to play on Sunday, and I think this game will probably be, I didn't make an official play on this game, but I think it's going to be a lot closer than people think.
Interesting. Now, a couple things. One is, for new listeners, Marco is a Pittsburgh expert. He spent 46 years in Pittsburgh, has had an amazing record since the start of 2009 on Pittsburgh-based teams. What's your record at right now?
To be honest with you, we're 1-4 this year in 2010. We had a great year last year in the
Well,
lines.
don't you know how touts do it? Is
Combined.
We got to combine. What's the combined record?
I went last year 49-22 with the.
All right, so you're fit. You're
50 and
fit.
26.
Exactly.
Well, we like to talk honesty here.
Yeah, that's true. Just enough on. We don't want to go overboard. I think we all know from our romantic relationships, you don't want too much honesty. I mean, am I right?
You speak for yourself.
You like full honesty?
Full disclosure?
Hey, that's me. Transparency.
Why are you right? Now, something else you guys we just actually caught on our break is if you pan in, and which we're not going to, you could see Marco has a little beard going. It looks like a 16-year-old or something trying to grow a beard.
The Stanley Cup beard.
Yeah, but we asked him, Marco, tell us why you got the beard going.
Well, last Thursday night, a week ago, I made my biggest bet of the basketball season thus far. I had Wright State. It was an absolute perfect situation. They had a 15-point lead. They blew the game.
So you lost, is what you're saying.
I lost by a bucket, and I was not happy. Friday morning, got up. I don't have to come into the office on Fridays. I work from home. And I said, screw it, I'm not shaving. Well, I won on Friday. So Saturday I didn't shave either. I won. Well, I've won 6 straight days, and I vowed I'm not shaving until I have a losing day.
Like hockey players
That's
in the
it.
playoffs.
So it's superstitious.
So I almost have a hedge because if Marco wins pregame benefits, if he loses, at least we're good to get rid of that beer. All right, so VR, as you dig a little deeper, well, let's talk about the point that Marco made is, well, here's what I want to talk about. I'm always confused about the following. You say USC blew out UCLA. So on one hand, I'm thinking, wait a minute, the best indication, like if I shoot someone in a game of pool and they beat me and they look like a better shot, I don't think, well, the next game I'm really going to get them because I'm pissed. I'm thinking they're better than me. I found something out I didn't know before that game. Now I'm a heck of a pool shot, so that's probably unlikely. But, well, I don't know. There's a lot of good ones out there, let's be honest. But on the other hand, we talk about this revenge. Either you guys jump in. When is it good for a team to have been beat the first game, and when is it bad?
No, there's always the revenge factor in all sports. When you play conference play and you meet an opponent twice. But I'm of the belief sometimes one team's just so much better.
So how do, as a handicapper, and specifically in this case, what are the factors you use to decide if the revenge is, or if the initial game was indicative of the nature of the teams, or something that wasn't indicative, and now the revenge is even more important?
By going back in and breaking down the box score and seeing, is there something that isn't normal? Is a team that only shoots 35%?
So if it was deceiving, if
UFC only shot 35% average from the 3-point line, and that day they happened to shoot 60%, then maybe because they got hot from behind the 3-point line, they built up a lead and it's misleading. But if I don't see anything there that jumps out at me that says they shouldn't be able to do this again, then I look at the revenge.
All right, so I'm going to let Marco jump in, but I think that's such a great point, is you made the point. Every time a team gets beat, the next game they're going to want to redeem themselves. That's a given across all scenarios, 99% of the time. So the distinction is, was the initial victory truly indicative or not? Because if it was, I'd rather have the better team versus the team that's very frustrated that wants to come back. I mean, you can walk up and down the ghetto or drive up and down the ghetto and say, look at all these people. They probably feel like they have revenge against society. They're going to go kick butt tomorrow at their job interview. Well, most of the time, losers are losers. So every loser has revenge, right? The question is it a loser that shouldn't have lost? That's when revenge seems more important. Is that how you look at it, Mark?
Well, there's one difference in sports betting, and it's called a point spread, and that becomes the equalizer. When you have a first meeting, there's going to be an adjustment in the second meeting. And now, especially, and here's one of the angles, and I'll give a little plug to a post that I do. We have a trap game blog that we do, and today I introduced a new type.
Who's we?
Me. Again. I always talk like the conglomerate, but I talk about trap games.
His beard, his stomach, and Marco, the triumphant.
Oh my God! But I introduced a different type of trap today, and it's called the revenge trap, and it's a very good article. And I gave up one of my gems that cappers will be using for their own use, but it's something that I developed a long time ago on how to gauge revenge games. But here you've got a situation in revenge where I like to look to the road dog when they really got embarrassed at home, because you're going to the other team's place, which the general public's automatically going to look and say, oh my God, Southern Cal crushed them at UCLA.
30 seconds.
They should be able to do it again at home. But there's going to be an inflated line, even more so than normal for the home court switch. And you can't help it. The team that won is going to feel a little bit, they're going to come in overconfident. We blew them out by 20 there. This is a cakewalk.
That's interesting. And of all that talking, the point that I took away from it was that the line adjustment.
Yeah, if they do so. If the line.
And that's where having true lines and fair lines help you know how much they did adjust it.
Right.
All right, good conversation. All right, guys, that's it for this week. That's been our 4th video. You can get all of our videos at pregame.tv. Remember, on each and every game we do here, you can go to YouTube, which pregame.tv sends you to YouTube. Predict in the comment section the score of this game. If you get it exactly right, you get 100 pregame dollars to spend any way you want. No cost, no obligation to get involved. And if you want to download and listen, you just go to iTunes, search for pregame.com.